Hey guys, Happy New Year. Derek James here, and we are going live again. We've been going live all week doing live bid reviews over on beta.sam. And I wasn't sure if I was going to go live again today, but I kind of wanted to round out the week, do a full Monday through Friday. So we're going to be hanging out again for about an hour, and we're going to be looking at some IT driven. I had a request for like IT products, and I need a little bit more specificity for that. So instead, I chose software licenses. So I do have a few software license contract opportunities, solicitations pulled up that we will be able to be going and diving into today on our live session. If you're watching live, feel free to say hi to me in the chat. And I will be sharing my screen as we go throughout. I've got a couple of different screens going on here behind the scenes that you can't see, but it's going to allow me to better check the chat and also dive into those solicitation documents while I'm on camera so that we can kind of have an even flow through everything. So if you do have questions as we're going through these live bid reviews, feel free to put those in the chat. I will bounce and check those as we go through them. And yeah, it's pretty relaxed. It's pretty flexible. The way that we do things here. I'm still kind of getting the hang of this live stream thing. So, thanks for bearing with me, trying to just, be myself and get more comfortable with things, and just kind of chatting with you guys really makes me feel at home. And it's one of the, more exciting things that I get to do, especially, in the GovCon space where things can be a little bit, monotonous or boring. Interacting with you guys is really a highlight for me. And I intend to do a lot more of it throughout the year ahead, 2021. Now, you may see me also grabbing for water. My voice is pretty much shot from live streaming all week. I got to build up my vocal strength, I think. So if I clear my throat a little bit, drink some water, take some breaks, just bear with me. Know that that's kind of, what's going on with me with that. So if you're just hanging out at home and you're wanting to, go through some bids or whatever, it's pretty much what we're going to be doing. I know a lot of people have today off, just kind of hanging out, taking the edge off of the holidays. So I thought it would be, a good day to decide to do it on, New Year's Day. And maybe at the end, we can talk about, I hate to go into like New Year's resolutions and things like that. But if we've got some time, maybe if we've got some engagement going on, we can talk about plans for 2021 in your government contracting business. Anything specific you want to talk about. Really, this time is for you guys, and I'm trying to encourage you to join me live here to make the most out of the time, because having a conversation like this, it's kind of hard to find. There's not a lot of people that are openly talking, and so I think it can be a very valuable thing. The more people that we have, participating and with us. So if you're watching live, feel free to say hi in the chat. In just a second here, we're going to head over to beta.sam. I'll start sharing my screen, and we'll start looking at those bid reviews. But I'll be happy to give shout outs to anybody who's watching live. And also, if you're watching this on replay, feel free to say what's up, hashtag team replay, because I know a lot of folks are not able to catch this live at the times that I do it. But we end up getting a lot of reviews after the recording. So a lot of love going out to you guys as well, and hope you're getting a lot of value from this. If you are have questions for me, but you can't be here live, put those in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond to those, as well as suggestions as well. So I would say it looks like we are pretty much good to go. And I'm pretty excited. I've got a second monitor up right here. So you'll see me looking here for the chat, and then over here when I'm looking at the bids. And of course, when I'm talking, I'll do my best to talk to you directly at the camera. So this is all the fun stuff that we get to do and learn about, when we're live streaming. So if somebody can just say something in the chat so that I know it's working properly. I don't see anything in the chat yet. I know that sometimes there is a bit of delay. Once I get a little bit of feedback in the chat, I will jump over to looking at our opportunities today. So just let me know that you are here so that I don't miss anything. Guys, I'm not sure what happened. We might have a little bit of technological difficulties. It says I'm still live, but my screen kind of refreshed there, unfortunately. I think we're good. I'm just not seeing any comments in the chat or anything like that. So I'm assuming you're there and you're probably just not chatting. So I'm just going to jump into it for the sake of time and for the sake of the replay. Lala with Love says hello. All right, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that we are good to go. So I got to reshare my screen now. All right, cool. So guys, I have pulled some IT software licenses opportunities this is what we're going to be looking at today. You can see I've got a few over here, and we're just going to kind of take it and wing it. So the first one we have is for this IBM AIX hardware software support licenses. This is due December 29th, so it was just due a couple of days ago. I've been trying to pull things that are as recent and relevant as possible for you. Total small business set aside. They even have a product and service code. The NAICS code for this is 541519 in case you want to do some of your own similar searches, if this is something that's a fit for you. Looks like they have pretty much copy and pasted and embedded, if you will, a lot of the solicitation jargon into the actual description section, which sometimes you'll see them just put a paragraph here. Sometimes they'll leave it blank. Other times they will just, copy and paste all the information in here, basically taking what's from the documents and repeating it. I'm going to take a quick look at what they have here. And primarily, we're going to be reading through the attachments to make sure that we don't miss anything. But let's just see. They're telling us this is an RFQ. Request for quote. They're giving us I guess you would call it, yeah, it's a pricing CLIN, and they're calling it IBM hardware and software maintenance base. The period of performance is going to be today, January 1st, but just for a year. So to the end of the year, December 31st, and then they want a total price for that. So basically the price for the hardware and software maintenance base for this IBM, this product number that they have here is exactly what they want. And we can probably go ahead and pull that and Google and just see if that gives us any more information. This is not exactly, yeah, so that's not really helpful. Let me see here. All that is pulling is other bids. I was hoping to get more information on the product as well, but let's just keep pushing through. The FFP is to acquire IBM hardware and software maintenance licenses for the host AIX operating system. These systems require hardware maintenance expertise, which include the hardware replacement for when the components fail, it's telling us, of periodic software updates and on-site support. So that's actually really interesting and good to know for non-user installable hardware. AIX is the common name applied to both the operating system and related hardware platforms. This platform is used to run the Indian Health Services mission critical software. So it's really important to them. So they need to make sure that they are staying on top of it. Guys, I always say that some of the two most important areas of solicitation, RFP, RFQ, whatever, it's the instructions to offers and the evaluations. Basically, what do you need to put together for your response? And how is the winning bidder going to be chosen? Those are two things that you really want to find out as quickly as possible. And if you can't get those answers, you're probably not going to bid on it because it's really critical information. They're telling us right out of the gate here. You can see it on my screen. I'll zoom in a little bit more for you. It's evaluation. They're going to tell us how the winning bidder is going to be chosen. The award for this will be made to the lowest price, technically acceptable offer. So essentially, if you are providing them what they've asked for, if you are the lowest price, that's how you're going to win this bid. You could win this contract if you are the lowest price, as long as you're, basically checking all the boxes for them in terms of being technically acceptable first, and then they'll look at your price. To be considered technically acceptable for the award, the offerer shall provide a reseller partnership certificate. So you have to be an authorized reseller, of course, because we're not even going to be able to get pricing for this if you're not an authorized reseller. So show them proof of that. Shouldn't be a big deal, quite honestly. Or other documentation that evidences the company's eligibility and capability to provide IBM products. Additionally, the offerer shall provide the following information. For 2 relevant federal contracts awards the offer has received within the past 4 years. So this is something we don't see a lot of, guys. They're actually asking for 2 past performances for federal contracts. I rarely ever see that. Usually they're saying previous projects, previous experiences, other past performances. Could be commercial, could be personal. They're actually saying specifically federal. So often it's this chicken and the egg thing, like, well, how do I get a federal contract if they're asking for a federal contract? Usually the case is they're not asking for you to have past performance with a federal contract. You can pull on, other work that you did, like I said, in the commercial or personal space. But for this, very rarely and uniquely, they are saying they want you to demonstrate 2 relevant federal contracts that you've received within the past 4 years. So if you don't have that, close this out, start looking at something else, because you're not going to stand a chance at being technically acceptable to win this bid. If you do have it, then you probably stand a really good chance, since this is going to be lowest price. So this is how you need to read through this bid, strategize. We haven't even gotten to the attachments yet, and we have a very good idea at what's going on with this. And being able to read this key information, like I said, these 2 sections, instruction to offers and evaluation, it's where you're going to find a lot of your important information. So it says only the brand name products and parts shall be acceptable with your offer. So do not offer a equivalent, something that performs similarly. They want IBM. No identical or like products will be accepted. They're saying a total firm fixed price is requested, and a price breakdown is not required. So again, coming back up, this pricing CLIN 0001, that's it. They're saying, hey, contractor, give us the price. What is your price? I'm telling you, it's for 1 year. So tell us, what are you going to charge us for this IBM hardware and software maintenance? They give you this PN number, and they want one price. So in addition to all of that, we talk about reps and certs, representations and certifications. You got to make sure you fill those out in your SAM profile, which is, if you're registered in SAM, you've already registered your entity, you got a cage code, all that. You have already filled out your reps and certs, whether you know it or not. And those actually are there available for download for you. And I have I believe I have a GovCon quick tips video that talks about how to do that, how to download that from your profile in SAM already. What else we have here? We have some clauses incorporated by reference. They're telling us quotes are due by January 6th. So this week we looked at some requirements that, actually, let me just double check this, because I thought this was already due. Now it's because it was updated. So original offer due date was December 29th. My bad. These actually are not due until January 6th. And now I remember why I pulled this, because earlier this week, what I was trying to say is we looked at some bids that were very recent, but they had expired. This is an example of a bid that's live right now. If you happen to be a reseller and you can demonstrate 2 federal contracts as they've asked for and give them a price for the year, you could win this contract. You could finish watching this video and bid on this thing. It is live. It is hot. I'm going to try to make the decision to put the focus point on bids that actually are not only live, but the response dates have not passed yet. Because maybe, you never know. Maybe maybe you could be watching this and you go and you bid on whatever it is that we covered, and I don't know, maybe win the contract, right? I mean, that would be the coolest thing for me to hear, that somebody watched, one of our live bid reviews, and then they went out and responded to it and won it. Like that'd be freaking awesome. So, I want to allow space for that by looking at bids that are, in real time. So let me just say hello to the chat. Beth Coppola, this is so helpful. Thank you so much for doing this. Hey, Beth, absolutely. I've been trying a few different things and trying to do what best works and provides the most value. Also, while being something that I can do and that I enjoy doing. So trying to find a match for you guys and for myself, something that I can do. And this week, I've really enjoyed doing this. This is our 5th one that we've done. So I really appreciate that feedback, Beth, and Happy New Year's. Digital Marketing Hub says, Happy New Year. Thank you for all that you do. Absolutely. It's, it really is a labor of love. I am trying to, build my business, but I believe building a business should begin with serving first. And, I want you to think of that in terms of your customer. These customers, at the end of the day, these are people. And let me just correct my screen here. These government agencies, these are people at the end of the day. There's a customer, there's an end user, maybe there's a soldier. What you think about the impact that you have, whether it's DOD or not DOD. There's somebody that, a mission that's being supported by whatever it is that you have to offer. Put them first. Remember, you're serving them. Let that be the lifeblood of your government contracting business. And just try and find ways that you can best serve them. And I believe that will definitely take your business from a relationship level and a reputation level so much further than just only playing the numbers game, which is responding to bids. Okay, you have to respond to bids. But I always say it's not just a numbers game. It's also who you know, and it's also the relationships that you can develop with your customers. At the end of the day, you can't get out of relationships being a critical component of doing any sort of business. And that definitely does include federal, customers, government contracting. So Fantine, what is going on? Fantine has been awesome in the fact that Fantine has been showing up during a lot of our lives this week. So that's absolutely awesome. Huge shout out to you, Fantine. Thanks for showing me some love, showing the channel some love, and joining us throughout the week. So let's get back to it here, guys. I'll come back to my screen. And really where we left off was we were finishing up this information. I reminded myself that the due date was incorrect. So this is a live bid, and that's kind of where we left off. Paul Primo, Paul Primo at IndianHealthServices.gov is going to be the point of contact in contracting for your submission. And if you have any questions prior to the submission, and you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different attachments. Let's see how quickly we can go through those. So what's going on here? So this is a 3-page document. Let me zoom in for you. Hey, John, what's going on? Finally made it to the party. Thanks for all your help. Absolutely, John. John, I saw your comment about yesterday's for the tree removal that you had already beaten me to it. You got to it and you reviewed it before I did. But yeah, that was my attempt to help you out with the tree removal example. However, as you probably discovered, there's not a lot on the market right now, so I didn't have a lot to choose from. But thanks for the suggestion, and it's cool that you're able to join us again live. So shout out to John there. So what we're looking at is called the justification and approval, which is contracting's way of having a paper trail. A J&A tells us that contracting is kind of making a decision on something, and it's going to affect the procurement in a big way. And so they have to have a paper trail to make sure they're not going to piss anybody off, because some people might get upset by whatever this decision is because it may preclude them or something. So they're saying for other than full and open competition means when they just open it up for everybody to bid on it, which means literally like Boeing or, depending on the requirement, any large, Fortune 500 company, literally any business, if it's full and open, it can bid on it, which means us as small business owners, we don't really stand a chance. We can't compete with economies of scale and things like that with the pricing that they have. So that's what full and open is. And they're saying this is for other than full and open. So let's just, see what they have to say here. They're telling us this is a follow-on requirement. It's not a new requirement. So that's good to know that this is an existing type of thing that already exists. Firm fixed price means, hey, show us the money, tell us how much it's going to cost. If you end up doing it for cheaper, good for you. They're not going to hit you up for the difference, unlike something like a cost or a times material contract. They're telling us that name of proposed contractor, IBM, and their authorized resellers. I mean, imagine that. Imagine if IBM just went direct on this. Some of you may already be thinking that, but let's see what else they have to say. The Indian Health Services requires expert consultative services and maintenance support for the embedded IBM server hardware and software support for the host AIX operating system. These systems require hardware maintenance expertise, which includes hardware replacement for failed components. Okay, we kind of already read this. That is a copy and paste job. Let me just see. I'm trying to get to the good part for you guys. IHS has a large investment in the IBM AIX servers. Only one vendor provides the operating system. So what they're doing is they're writing the justification to say that you have to use IBM. Competition will be promoted among the IBM small business resellers. So yeah, that's what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure they weren't just saying, not only do we want IBM product, but we want IBM, the company, because this would kind of be a waste of time. Well, not a waste of time. It would be a good example, but wouldn't be able to bid on it. They are telling us, however, in this J and A, this is going to be authorized amongst the IBM small business resellers, but they are requiring, it's not that they want, it is a must that you provide the IBM product. There's no equivalence, nothing like that. So that's the importance of this document. Absolutely. Let me see here, guys. I'm just looking at the chat. I got another monitor, so I don't have to close my windows out, which is awesome. Whitney, happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for stopping by. Sherry says, thank you for all your training. Happy New Year. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us live, Sherry. It's so much fun hanging out with you guys. This is why I do it. Hello, happy New Year. Any live streams regarding civil engineering contracts? Says Fierus. Potentially, if you want. This week was kind of my week to kind of just take it off the cuff and be unstructured and take suggestions. I may be able to do something for civil engineering contracts in the future. We will see. I will kind of make note of that. Thank you for the suggestion. And thanks for hanging out with us, guys. So that was the justification and approval. That's important for you to know, because you may find that in whatever industry you're in. And that's why I always say these, whenever we do a bid review, whether it's live or not, it's important for everybody in the federal space who's bidding, because you're going to see stuff that, even though it may not be your flavor of the week, what your business does, the structure and the way that things play out, and being able to see the way that, contracting does things, for example, this J&A document, you could have something exactly like that in your industry. So it's important for you to know and understand what that is in case you run across that. they've given us a number of amendments. Amendment means there's a change. It's a government form. You do have to print, sign, and date in your submission, your email submission, for every different amendment. If there's 4, I think there was 4 on the one we looked at yesterday. And I had explained in the response, you got a sign date, put your name and your address and all that on each individual amendment so that contracting knows that you have acknowledged it. It's called acknowledging amendments. Otherwise, they're not going to consider your bid because they might think you're using old information to price or to put a proposal on. So you want to make sure that if there's amendments, they are important. They're not lengthy to read through, but you do have to acknowledge them officially in that capacity. They're saying Amendment 1 to the RFQ changes the small business size standard to 150 employees and provides the incumbent contract information. So that's pretty cool. It says the current task order number HHS was placed against the NIH contract such and such. The incumbent contractor is Fed Store Corporation. So if you wanted to do, and I'm probably going to do it just because I want to. If you wanted to try and find out what was going on with the previous contract, this is the information that you could use: the previous contractor's name or the contract number. You used to be able to do this in a website that I talked about called FPDS, Federal Procurement Data System. It's moved, unfortunately. I'll show you. I showed you guys this the other day as well. So basically, they're saying, attention, FPDS is now retired. So there's still data in there, but you used to be able to pull all the info on a previous contractor by contractor name or the contract award number. Now everything's moved to beta.sam. So I can show you, they're doing this legacy site thing. So they're taking a lot of government contract sites and they're moving it to beta.sam.gov. That's eventually it's going to just become sam.gov, and they're going to lose the beta and they're going to merge this with what sam.gov is right now. So what I'm showing you is this FPDS. See, it has now been retired and now they're working on SAM, it looks like, which is pretty scary to me, but that's the next thing that they're in progress on. So you used to be able to use FPDS. Long story short, going down the rabbit hole. Now they want us to use beta.sam.gov to look up a previous contract. I have not had a lot of success doing this, but I'm going to do it live and just see if it works. They did give us the contract number. So I'm going to show you where you could potentially plug that in at. Contract award number right here. I'm going to add that as a filter. And let's cross our fingers, guys. Let's see if it's going to work for us. In theory, this is what you're supposed to do. So yeah, it did not pull up. It's saying, let me make sure I don't have any other filters on here that would active only. Take that off. So that didn't work. And for that, let me just try this other one. Yeah. So for whatever reason, if there's missing data, whatever's going on in this transition process, it's still really hard to navigate this. I was hoping that we could pull it up and see what this is previously, being done for, which would be really, really helpful. The other thing that we can try, and then I'll get back to it, contractor awarded name. They did give us the name of the contractor. I have found more success using this. If I can find where it went. Contractor awarded name, Fed Store Corporation. So that pulled up 93 results. And it says awardee, Fed Store Corporation, Fed Store Corporation, Fed Store Corporation. So it looks like it did work. So one thing that we could do, not that we necessarily want to, but it's probably, it's like 10 pages worth. We could go through these to find, hopefully the requirement, because these were all contracts that were awarded to Fed Store Corporation. So it's a bit of a longer way around, but it's something that we could do. And I'm not going to do it right now. but it really gives you an idea, at least a way to get an idea of what your competitors are doing. You can, kind of spy on your competitors, see what contracts they have, what NAICS codes are they using, what customers are they doing business with. If you can just find, a name of one competitor, you could plug it in and see, I don't know if this is all of their contracts, because again, the data issue that's happening with the migration, but hey, at least it's giving us 10 pages. And the awardee for all these is FedStore Corporation. So at least I could show you that. I was hoping I could show you, and hopefully maybe it would be in there, the actual dollar value, but the actual contract number, it just didn't work for us. And that's unfortunate. So anyways, yeah. Oh, geez. I'm sorry, guys. You couldn't see my screen that whole time. I'm getting better. Anyways, what I was showing you is here. There's all I did was, there's 10 pages. All I did was I added this filter right here. I'll make it even bigger for you to make up for it. What I did was I added this filter, contractor awarded name. And the way I did that was I went to this change filters, and then all you got to do is check one of these boxes if you want to add one of these filters or take one of those out. So I used contractor awarded name, and at first I used contract award number, but that didn't pull anything up. So I used the name. I went down here. I typed in FedStore Corporation, and then that pulled up these 93 results for all of these different FedStore awards. So that's what I was saying. You could do this type of exercise in your industry if you know the name of a competitor, or if you could find one, again, to find the contracts that are being awarded to them under what NAICS code, from what customers, what agencies, how recent, things like that. So apologize that I was not sharing my screen. I'm still getting used to this, like I said. So now you can see me again. Thank you, Digital Marketing Hub, for letting me know that you could not see my screen. I'm getting better, I promise. So yeah, let's kind of pick up to where we were. This was the amendment, and we got some somewhat helpful information. So if you came across an amendment, that's the whole point of this whole last 5 minutes. When they give you an incumbent name or an incumbent award number, you're supposed to be able to do some research to help you in bidding and pricing this thing. So if we wanted to take the 10 pages worth of FedStore awards and try and find this, we could, and maybe we would find what the dollar value is for this. That's pretty much the whole point and where I was trying to go with that. But let me get back to, here we go. So now we have the Second Amendment, not the Second Amendment, but Amendment number 2, same document, same form. For this one, they're saying, provide the IBM equipment, make sure you can see my screen this time, and the IHS facility list applicable to the requirement. 24/7 support is needed under the contract. Quote, due date is changed to 12 p.m. December 30th. We know that it was ultimately changed to January 6th, and there's more amendments that we are going to have to go through, but we know kind of what's happening with this. So they're talking about, they're providing a equipment list. So hopefully we will be able to see that in the next attachment here. So yeah, it looks like they decided to say, hey, it'd probably be helpful for small contractors to know what equipment, what make and serial numbers we kind of have that are needing to be serviced. So they've broken it down by, they're calling it an area assessment, but they've got Aberdeen, Proving Grounds, Albuquerque, Nashville, Navajo, OIT, and Phoenix. So this looks like way bigger than we initially may have thought that it was. Maybe just providing some hardware support, maybe some licenses. But they've got a massive amount of database here that is needing to be serviced. So that is what they're showing. So that's, it doesn't mean a whole lot to me. Again, this is not my area of expertise. But for those of you who are in this field would be able to do something like that, I absolutely know that that's going to be a game changer for you when you're trying to price this thing out and everything else. So the next amendment, amendment number 3. Again, they're saying it's an updated equipment list. So it's probably going to be another Excel sheet. So yeah, so they made some changes to this. So just make sure you're on top of the changes when you're responding to anything. When you have amendments, make sure you are going through all of them. Then amendment number 4 now. Changing the due date. Again, each one of these, you've got to print, sign, and date, and then do your name and address and information up here in box number 8. That's just standard for all amendments. And this last amendment looks like they're doing a questions and answer type thing. This is where they extended it to January 6th. Good. They're saying all IBM equipment, including the legacy items, shall be supported via the contract. If IBM Direct no longer supports the legacy equipment, the contractor shall quote and provide the support services for a third-party service provider. So I'm guessing somebody kind of called them out on something. A contractor reminded contracting of something that maybe they didn't think of, and so they had to make this clarification. Right here, there's a list of 7 questions and answers. Again, if you have questions when you're responding to bids, this is for all of you, and it's within that Q&A deadline, submit a formal question to contracting via email, and they will post answers like this, answering your question and your competitors' questions, which is also very good information for you to know. So they're saying 9111 machines. I have to submit a request to IBM for approval before support can be ensured. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of these questions because they're very technical. Point being is they have Q&A, and you can use this to your advantage. So that's really what you need to know here. So that's all of the attachments. One of the most important things I want to point out about this is we did not see some big proposal type outline that they've asked for us. Everything that they've asked for in all those documents, we covered in the description of this, which again, they don't always put it there, but they gave us a pricing CLIN. They're telling us it's got to be IBM, like we figured, that was made very clear to us. And then lastly, they want those 2 federal contract past performance. So do that in a Word doc, put some sort of cover letter, cover page on it, make it professional, reference the solicitation number, make sure you're using Times New Roman font, size 12, all kind of standard black and white type things, just to make it very easy and streamlined for contracting to go through. That's kind of how you would put this response together. And we know that this is also LPTA. So as long as you do that and it's sufficient, if you have the lowest price, you will win this contract. And that's something that you can apply to, that evaluation method to any contract that takes that evaluation method of a lowest price technically acceptable response. So although there were all these attachments, they were all just 1-page amendments. Again, sign those, attach those in your response. So you're going to have literally 5 different amendments that you have to acknowledge. So it would be 5 separate attachments in your email, along with your quote. So you'll probably have a minimum of 6 documents to respond to this. Email those to Paul Primo by January 6th, and you could win this, But like we found out when they gave us that equipment list and all those different locations, we realized this is probably a little bit bigger than at least the way that I was thinking that it was. So that was absolutely game changer to find that. John says, I like the idea. Let me pull it up here. I like the idea of looking at awards for past contracts to see if you're in the ballpark before you're submitting your bid. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we in the space do as much as we can. And again, you can always ask the question, what was the previous value? Who was the previous, contractor? Like they did in the amendment. This is a follow-on requirement. It is not a new need. So they kind of let us know that information. Back in the day, before they got rid of it, we used to be able to submit what was called a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request, and really like get the proposals, get the responses from your competition. This is something that was a little bit before my time because they stopped allowing it a little while ago. But you could get all that information to use and respond to, the current or the future bid. And then when you didn't have that, you could always go to FPDS, Federal Procurement Data System, the website that I showed you that is being, has already been decommissioned and retired now. So now we have to rely on beta.sam.gov to do what you're talking about here, John. And like I demonstrated, all the data is not there yet, so it's not super effective. But I'm confident that in the future, it's going to have to be because we need to have some sort of tool to do that. So yeah, absolutely, you are spot on with that assessment. So that's really all I wanted to cover with this particular solicitation. What I'd like to do now is, if you guys are still doing good, I would like to go and look at another one, but I want to go through it a lot faster. It's kind of what I've been doing all week. So I have another one pulled up here. You can see my screen. We're still good. Click Dimension software. It's a very specific type of software. This is due January 4th. Total small business set aside. 541519 NAICS code for those who care. Let's see what they're telling us. This requirement is being solicited on an unrestricted basis using simplified acquisition procedures. Unrestricted usually means full and open competition like we talked about, but I'm not 100% sure because they did tell us it's a total small business set aside. Let me see what else we can find out first. This is being issued as an RFQ, request for quotation. Again, a firm fixed price purchase order is anticipated. However, the government is no way obligated to make an award, nor to pay any cost incurred by the contractor in preparing and submitting its quote. That's all very common. The Peace Corps is seeking to purchase Click Dimension software services and maintenance support. So we know that we are working with the Peace Corps. A little different. We don't always see something from the Peace Corps every day. So Avery Stevenson in contracting, as well as Brendan Kittredge. Just so you know, the secondary point of contact is usually the officer, and the primary is the contracting specialist. The officer is the one who's actually going to sign off at the end of the day. The specialist is the one who's doing more of the administrative paperwork, type back and forth stuff, kind of answering questions, things like that, just so you know. So we have two attachments here. And again, we're looking at this, what is it? Click Dimension software. We have a solicitation document. And then again, we're seeing, without even opening it, they're saying brand name justification. So they're telling you, hey, we want Click Dimension. I can't remember that. We don't want something that's an equivalent or similar. So let's see what the solicitation document looks like. I'll go ahead and close out these other ones. This is 17 pages long, but we'll go through it pretty quick. And look, like there's no like government form. This isn't a SF 1449 or anything like that, SF 18. It's just like a PDF Word doc, Peace Corp letterhead, no big deal. Like you'll see that every bid is different. I always try to stress that. So it's good that you kind of get your confidence up, because Every single one is not going to be the same when you're looking at this. So this is RFQ, unrestricted basis. This is the copy and paste stuff from the description. They're giving us a, zoom out just a little bit, product list that looks like it's 34 clins long. This is your pricing table. This is going to be the most important component for this. You're going to have to supply a quantity, a unit price, and a total. So for the unit price, it's the price for one, and the total is the unit price times the quantity. So for this example, it's 1. The next example, well, down here we have 3. So you'd multiply the unit by 3 to get your total. Pretty simple math. What are they asking for? They're saying annual subscription to QuickDimensions software package. Then they've got this bus relay connector solution. I don't even know what a bus relay connector solution is. And I'm not ashamed at all to say that. But for those of you who are in this industry or are looking to get into it, I mean, Google is your best friend. I'm sure we could kind of just punch it in. And it gives you an idea. So you're dealing with a little bit of software. Add click dimension. Yeah, that didn't really help us, but you get the point. Also a relay connector and then business support package. So they're calling this the base year. So I want to call this out also for you, if you can see it. Base year, January 9th, 2021. So this is going to start in, a little over a week. 10 million emails per year subscription package to QuickDimensions software. 10 million emails. I wish my email list was 10 million. So they're saying a base year for that, but then they're also saying a base year for optional quantities. You don't always see something like that. Usually it's base year, option year 1, option year 2, option year 3. They're calling it base year and then a base year with optional quantities. So you want to make sure that you don't miss that. And then it goes to option year 1, option year 1 optional quantities. And then the same for 2, 3, and 4. So all that price is going to total down here. So you're going to want to take this table, recreate this table, or just basically fill it out in this document itself if you want. This is where you're going to capture your pricing for something like this. It's going to be, I can tell you, one of the most important components of your response already just by looking at this. Period of performance, we kind of already looked at that, but it's going to be through, or it looks like up to January 8th, 2026. So a really nice 5-year contract. They're giving you point of contact for contract administration. Guys, once you win a contract, once you're on the inside, you're looking at a contract, you bid on it, you win it. Once you get past all of that, you'll find that contracting is usually pretty helpful. Say you're new to navigating things, they're giving you a number of different point of contacts here. They'll usually help you out, like for billing and invoicing. They usually have, a system that they use. I mean, not usually, they do have a system that they use. Different agencies just have different systems, but they'll take care of you. It's just kind of on the upfront end. They are not very, they're just a little bit more objective. They're not going out of their way to help you, nor should they, because you're competing. But they want to make sure that you're successful on the contract. That's what I'm trying to say. Once you actually win. Invoice requirements, all sort of contract administrative stuff here still. Clauses. We see instruction to offers and we see evaluation. We know from earlier those are important spots. Usually they're a lot meatier than this, but let's just see what they have to say. It says all questions shall be submitted. Vendor shall submit quotes to Avery Stevenson no later than January 4th. That's literally all that they said. So we already kind of knew that. For the evaluation, it says the government will award a contract resulting from the solicitation to the responsible offer, whose offer conforming to the solicitation will be most advantageous to the government on, again, a lowest price technically acceptable basis, LPTA. So we found it. That's a key piece of information. The offer shall demonstrate the ability to provide the click to mention product listed in section 1. That valuation of offers received shall not be on the basis of FAR Part 15. So the government will evaluate offers for award purposes by adding the total price. Basically, they're going to add all the price up together, and that's it. So LPTA, I didn't see anything about a technical approach. I didn't see anything about past performance. What I did see was it's got to be click dimension, and I did see a big fat pricing table with, you know, a base and base options and option year options that they want you to fill out. That's what we did see. And so far, that's what the takeaway from this is. Make sure you complete your reps and certs. We have FAR clauses here, and we're almost through the document at this point. 17 pages, but a few pages is really where you spend the most of your time. That's the whole document. Back to our initial tab here. Okay, so again, for this one, it wasn't like the previous bid that we looked at. That was, you know, it had 4 different amendments and like 10 attachments. There's only 2 here. The solicitation doc, what we just went through for the RFQ, and then this brand name justification, which we kind of now already know what this is going to be all about. It's going to be them saying they want click dimension and they don't want anything else. And this is the reason why. That's what I'm anticipating. Description of the supplies. Let me see. 10 million, 1 click dimension product serial bus. Yeah, so you're giving us the description of what they want. We already know that. Just want to find the good stuff. Show me the good stuff. They're saying the contracting officer certification, that the justification is accurate and complete. This is a justification. Avery Stevenson is signing off on it. I was looking for a more obvious statement. Here it is, I guess. There are no practical considerations the Peace Corps can take at this time to eliminate the proprietary limitations placed on the Click Dimensions product at this time, which led to the limited competition. Peace Corps technical experts will continuously perform market research to ascertain the ability of other potential solutions. This is where they're covering their butt, to remove or overcome barriers to competition, because contracting always has to come from a standpoint of increasing competition, getting the most, you know, bidders in here with not just the most number of bidders, but creative solutions that may save taxpayers dollars, you know, money spending, basically by allowing other solutions. They're not allowing other solutions, but they're saying, hey, we're going to continue to look and do our due diligence. But for right now, Click Dimensions is the only thing that can give us what we want. And this is signed off. This happens to be Avery Stevenson actually happens to be the contracting officer on this one. And he was the primary point of contact. So I think him and the secondary were kind of switched in my explanation. So he's actually signing off on this one himself. Brand name justification, Click Dimensions. So I'm actually just super curious about this Click Dimensions now. I'm hearing so much about it. They got a website, Click Dimensions, the marketing cloud for Microsoft Dynamics. I mean, they're talking about 10 million email support package, services pricing. What is their pricing? So they're saying email volume users. Well, it says users is unlimited for all these packages. So I mean, this is what they're talking about. Go to Click Dimensions, look at their pricing, looking at their services, get a price quote, I guess, from Click Dimensions based on what the government's asking for. It doesn't seem to me like they're going directly to Click Dimensions on this, but I don't exactly know why they wouldn't just go direct. Unless they are and I missed it, but just doesn't seem to be the case. So kind of interesting, I would say. I'm just double checking, guys. I'm just reading. I mean, they're calling it unrestricted again, which bothers me because they are calling it a total small business set aside. Those are two conflicting statements as far as I'm concerned. If I were interested in responding to this, I would literally call or contact Avery or Brendan and say, hey, I just want to make sure you're not going directly to Click Dimensions for this requirement, because it's unclear, because this is set aside for total small business. And I'm pretty sure that Click Dimensions is probably not a small business. They're probably large. So I just want to make sure that me, as a small business government contractor who has an expertise in IT or software licenses or what have you, can provide this to you through Click Dimensions being the end user, because that's my understanding of this. And before I waste any time getting pricing, I want to get that clarity, because hey, at the end of the day, I'm just a person. I don't know everything. You're going to have questions when you're bidding on these things, and it's best to save your own time. And if you can get a question answered, and if they just say, no, we're going with Click Dimensions on this, then you're not going to waste your time. So I think it's good. I mean, every one of these is good because we look at things from a different angle. And let me join you here live now. We see things from a different angle, and we see how things are done a little bit differently from contracting. I try to provide my 2 cents that I can, based on my personal experience and what I've seen from other small business owners going through, and we kind of just try and make sense of it so that you have a realistic approach to your thinking when you're looking at these on your own. So that was two software. They were software. I don't know why I'm hesitating to say they were software, but the IBM one had some hardware and kind of troubleshooting and maintenance on that as well. But those were two bid examples. That's probably all that I'm going to do for today. Rounded out right at an hour. Perfect timing for the new year and the end of the week. It's Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. Ali, nice to see everyone here. Happy New Year. Good luck to everyone. Hey, Ali, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us live again. If you guys have any questions for me, now is a good time to put those in the chat. Anything just about GovCon in general, or anything about me or what's going on with GovKidMethod. If you wanted to talk about that for a minute, we absolutely could. If not, I'll probably end it here. So I will say, if you are new, the time you're watching this, whether it's live right now, hello, or if you're watching, in the future on replay, if you're new here and you're looking to get into government contracting and you haven't really found a space, come join our community. Consider subscribing. I try to do things like this. I went through a bit of a delay over the last couple of months. I moved from Michigan to Alabama, so I'm going hard this past week, finally getting on my feet. We're in a new office, a new setup. We got some new technology. StreamYard, I absolutely love StreamYard, how the streams have been going. I probably will invest in that software, and then you won't see that logo there anymore. You'll see my logo, but there's been some new changes going on. If you're new here, we'd love to have you join our community. Consider subscribing. And we also have a Facebook community of almost, I think, 3,000 subscribers, or 3,000 members rather, in Facebook. And you will find the link for that in the link in the description of this video. And also, lastly, I've got a number of free GovCon courses at my website, GovKidMethod.com. If you're looking for some new free content to help you get on your feet to get started, you can check that out at the website as well. So it looks like John is asking, are we still planning on doing a boot camp? Yeah, John, it's not a boot camp. It's more like a program with a number of recordings and tools that I've created. I'm about half done. I'm not talking about it a lot publicly right now because it was causing me a lot of stress and anxiety to kind of get it done amidst all the other changes that were going on in my personal life. So it's not coming out this month. I know I teased a little bit that hopefully I could do a January enrollment and launch into the program. It's not going to be January, but it will be some time this year. It will be within the first half of the year. I don't want to put too much stress on myself, but even within the first quarter, over the next couple months, realistically is what I'm looking for. But just make sure you're plugged into the channel. Once I do have that ready to go, I will be talking about it a whole lot. So don't worry about that. Just stay tuned, but it's not ready yet. I want to make sure it's really good quality. And I was going through some things that distracted me for a little bit. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. Thank you for asking about that, John. Hey, if you guys haven't clicked that like button and you liked the video, if you like these type of live bid reviews, I'm kind of doing them because I like doing them and I think you like it. But clicking that like button or letting me know in the chat or the comments that you actually value these type of things will encourage me to do more of them. But if I think people aren't really liking them or enjoying them, I probably will just stop doing them. And this is how I communicate with you guys. So I don't really get a lot of, I don't have a really good way of kind of having a conversation and getting true feedback from the audience and our community. So it really does mean a lot, your comments and your questions or in the chat, letting me know things, because I do make note of those. And it just helps me determine the path forward and the strategy for the channel. So I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it. So I'm going to end it here, guys. I wish you a very happy new year, January 1st. I'm going to take the weekend off, so I won't be going live Saturday or Sunday. I'm feeling good about going live, so I'm hoping to do something on Monday. If you want to come back same time, same place, you will likely find me here, and I hope that you do. So happy New Year. Have a great weekend ahead, and stay happy, safe, and healthy. And we'll talk very soon, guys. Thanks for stopping by.